Hey everybody, Jessica Morrison, Realtor with Ferris Property Group here in Indianapolis, Indiana, back for another small business highlight interview. Today we are here with Erin Schlick with Star Financial. Erin, how are you, my dear?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, you bet. What are we going to talk about today?
We're just going to talk about Star Financial Bank, and then also our new branch in Zionsville. It's actually located in the high school. So we'll talk about Star and then kind of what this project means and our goals and our purpose here in Boone County.
Yes, for those not familiar, having a bank branch in a school is a pretty big deal for a lot of different reasons. So first, let's get to know you, get to know Star. How did you get started at Star and what makes your company unique in the business world?
So I've been working for Star for 4 years. I actually started as a personal banker, and then I went into the training department. And then once I was in the training department, I kind of um, developed a passion for leading and teaching others. So then I transitioned into a manager role. Um, and I've loved it ever since. What's really special about Star is we are a smaller local bank. So not only do we treat our clients more like family, the employees feel like family is too. So it's just a really great company to work for. And I'm really excited for things that we're going to do in the future.
That makes a lot of sense. So what's the history with Star Financial? Because I think you guys have been like I know you from when I went to school at Indiana Wesleyan University. You had a campus nearby, but that was my first exposure to you. And I really feel like in the last 3 to 5 years, maybe 2 to 3 more especially, your marketing and brand awareness has just exploded. So kind of give us a short back history on your company.
Okay, so Star Financial Bank, we've been in service for about 78 years. Our first headquarters was in Marion, Indiana, and then we trickled up to Fort Wayne and expanded our presence there. And then in the last 15 years, we've really grown our presence in the South region, so Indianapolis region. We have about 45 branches in central Indiana. And we are a family, local owned bank. We'll always remain independent. We're very relationship driven. So, we really value getting to know our clients on like a deeper level and, calling them and knowing them by their first and last name. But we are a full service bank. So our typical clients would be students, established individuals, small businesses, commercial businesses, and then just really anything in between. And so some of the services and products we offer are checking accounts, savings accounts, mortgages, home equity line of credits, auto loans, small business loans, and then also advisory as well. So really anything you could think of banking related, we're kind of like a one-stop shop.
Well, and that's neat. You guys have been local, and I think it's always fun to watch companies mature, especially through the different decades and seasons. You guys weathered a recession and some other pretty significant market changes.
Yes.
And you can speak more technically about that from a banking perspective, but the longevity is nice. And again, having it be somebody that's local, that does know your name, I think really helps make that whole experience, just like in real estate, more personable and therefore enjoyable because you get to know physical people and not just a robot or something like that.
Right.
But kind of walk me through, and for the record, those who haven't gone downtown, I got to walk through your branch downtown and it is beautiful. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so just go treat yourself to the chocolate shop nearby. And then, not that you would plan to go walk through a bank, but this bank is worth walking through. Uh, anyway, let's go back to Zionsville. So, what made you guys decide to put a branch in a school? Because I think when you're looking at real estate with a business, I would think that on one hand, well, that's not very convenient, but what was the logic and what's the vision with going in Zionsville schools?
So that's a great question. So this partnership actually started several years ago. Zionsville was looking for a sponsorship or a sponsor for their Performing Arts Center. So we connected with them and then decided to sponsor. So it's now named the Star Financial Bank Performing Arts Center. And then from there, really our relationship kind of just flourished. We were always thinking of expanding to Zionsville and Boone County, but an opportunity kind of presented ourselves. So we built the first immersive learning center branch within the high school. And the branch itself used to be a classroom that we just completely flipped into like a full functioning bank. And really the purpose here is just to partner with Zionsville Community Schools to provide internship opportunities and job shadowing opportunities for students, just to kind of allow them to see how the US banking system works, see career opportunities, not only in retail banking, but also HR. And what does our marketing department do? And what does that look like? IT. And so we're really just here for them, to partner with them, to educate them in financial literacy as well. So we do offer financial literacy classes with the high school and other schools in Zionsville. So that's just a really huge part of it. And then the other purpose of it is just to serve Boone County and Zionsville as a full service bank. So really just to extend our services here and, give back to the community as well at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And I wish on some level, I don't know if you are able to trademark that idea, but I think it's brilliant to, especially in more developing areas or areas that do need the additional education that maybe public schools are not able to provide, having, well, I said that wrong, but you get what I mean.
Yes.
Underserved areas where financial literacy would be just even more valuable. But I think that this is a really good starting point, because where are we at with the average consumer debt and credit cards or student loans? Do you know?
I do not know, but I would say probably most people have 1 to 2 credit cards and then they're in debt. I would say I think 89% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck. And some of that is just always paying debt, that they can't get out from. So just kind of being educated about, number one, what's my credit score? How does that work? How do I build it? And how do I use, these certain tools and products to help me be successful is so important, to not only teach like students and like the future generations, but also young adults and even adults that may never have had that kind of conversation before. So yeah, we're really excited to be here and just help in any way we can.
Sure. Well, I think you bring up a good point, because I think sometimes no one ever plans to walk into debt or have financial problems. Life happens, and unfortunately, you have to just navigate what you have in front of you. So do you have within the school, maybe there is an adult watching this, and I think anytime you want to learn something as an adult, you feel kind of silly, like, oh, I want to learn a new language. And it's always hard to be willing to start something new and fail or have a harder time. So do you have options for adults maybe who want to learn in financial literacy?
Yeah, so in the future, we are going to be offering seminars, not for teachers and staff, but also anyone in the community that would just like to know more information. It could be about STAR, it could be about credit, really anything. But also we do offer free financial reviews. So if someone just wants to come in and talk about, hey, I don't have any financial goals, or hey, these are my 2021 financial goals, how am I going to get there? We can talk openly about that. And so that's one thing we offer. And then if you're just interested in learning anything educational, like we are so open to any kind of conversation that, either of us could benefit from. So just really come to the branch, take a tour, and ask us anything you would like to know. We'd love to help.
Sure. What would be the difference between a STAR financial advisor versus a dedicated financial advisor? Is there a difference within your company, or if there is, how are they different?
That's a good question. So we actually have a wealth advisor. So his name is Jonathan Jacoby, and he is a dedicated wealth professional, that's going to look at investments and um, all that kind of stuff. But if you were just to come into Star and talk to one of us, we could just kind of look at a full picture of your financial, your goals and everything, income, and just kind of give you like a holistic approach. So we have someone who, really is meant to help you with your advisory and any kind of investments that you have. But really here, I would also say customer service. I know some people, when I bring up the conversation is, do you have a financial advisor? When's the last time you've talked to them? They would say, like, I have a great relationship with my current financial advisor, but it does help if you just get a second opinion. That helps. But also I would say our customer service here is going to look a little bit different. We're going to compete well with the big competitors, just because we do offer great customer service, and some of that can be in person or virtually. So it just kind of depends what you're looking for, but we are a little bit different, but we do offer our own line of business that's dedicated to financial advisory.
That's great. And I think that's helpful for those watching. So this is kind of going back to the financial literacy question. And if you don't have the answer, that's okay. I'm kind of putting you on the spot with this. But one thing, especially being a realtor, that I come into contact with from time to time is individuals who will need to improve their credit. And I feel like the consumer world gets ambushed with scams left and right from credit repair companies. Do you have anything that from a Star Financial capacity that helps consumers improve their credit, or do you have a preferred company that you connect people with?
So we offer a couple different things to help someone improve their credit. We actually just had an update for our online banking app. So if you just have an account with us, we have a tool called Savvy Money. And so that will allow you to pull your credit once daily, and it's not going to hit your credit at all. And it shows kind of like the percentages of categories that impact your credit and where you are. And it kind of gives you a grade. And then it also tells you opportunities to improve your credit. So that's one thing that's great. I know sometimes people pay, for a credit shield product or to get their credit score every 90 days or whenever it changes. But this is something that you can use daily to manage your credit. Another thing we offer is we have one of our checking accounts actually comes with a credit shield product built in. And the monthly fee for that checking account is $9.99. So you're paying around $10 a month for something that compares to a $80 product a month. So, and it's kind of combined in one. So I actually have that account, and the credit shield protection and kind of the credit reports and how that works is really cool. So those are the two things that we have that are constantly monitoring our clients' credit and improving them. I would say the easiest ways to improve your credit would, especially for students, would be to get a student credit card or a secured credit card or a auto loan with a cosigner for their parents. So those are the three ways someone, especially a young adult or a student that has no credit, can really start their credit and then continue to build it.
Sure. No, that's great advice. And I appreciate that you have those two options within your company. Again, that's a good example, guys, of customer service and full service tools that maybe some other companies don't have or just don't advertise well. Going back to Zionsville Schools, I don't want to downplay just how cool that product is or branch is. How have you seen, when did you guys first open, and have you seen any testimonials or things right off the bat that have made you just so glad that you guys have made that decision?
Yes, we opened last August, so August 2020. So we've been open for about 8 months. And since then, starting a new project in the middle of the pandemic, and in a new county that we've never had a real presence in was a challenge. But I kind of knew the impact that we've already made with some students in the classes and as well as Zionsville Community Schools. It just pays off to be here. Just seeing the impact that we can and what we're going to do in the future here is really something to talk about. We're really excited.
Yeah, I think anytime that you're helping people understand how to use money as a tool, I've heard Dave Ramsey use a metaphor that it's like a brick. You can choose to throw it through a window or build a hospital with it. It's all in your choice. But you can quite literally be changing your family tree with how you choose to understand investing and living below your means if you're able to. And again,
Right.
just when you start early, you're able to, I think with education, just make better decisions or more conscientious decisions because you understand the consequences up front better. So for those maybe who aren't in Zionsville and don't have access to your branch, but they're interested in working with you or STAR, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Just reach out to one of us. It can be just calling the branch or going online to schedule an appointment. We have virtual appointments and in-person appointments. That's probably one of the easiest way to get in touch. We are open to, even though this partnership is with Zionsville Community Schools, we are very open to any kind of relationship, whether that's, just seeing how we can help you, and just getting to know you. We're very open to that. So yeah, just pick up the phone and reach out or walk in and we'd be glad just to talk to you and meet you.
Sure. I do have a couple more questions before we wrap up, and I don't know if you can speak into this or not, but regarding 2021 and COVID, mortgage defaulting or repaying with the forbearance period, what's kind of your forecast with financial, maybe a financial outlook for this coming year that people might not be anticipating, or that's a pretty loaded question, so I'll leave it there for now.
No, that's a really good question. So since we just had an election, I don't think a lot of things are going to change, but I do know that I know mortgage rates are already starting to trickle up from, what we were seeing last year. So just kind of understanding the market where we're in now and kind of where we're kind of going to go in the future, especially now that, people are getting out and going places again and giving back to the economy and small businesses. So I would just say just to be aware that things will probably slowly start to change. But that's my own personal opinion based on, the market and the current rate environment we're in right now.
Sure. I've heard some loan officers say that they're speculating interest rates to go up to 4% by the end of the year. Would you say that that's a true consensus?
Yeah, I think we're close with some of depending on the product, we're close to that right now. So I think that could be a possibility.
Which is crazy, guys. I remember rates, I mean, they went up to 4 or 5% pre-COVID, and then they dropped, and then it was 1.9, 2.1, and now it's like, man, get in while you can, because the other half of that is home prices are continuing to appreciate. Cost for new construction is skyrocketing for 100% based on supply and demand.
Yes.
Obviously interest rates. So the sooner you can get in, if you're thinking about moving, the better, because you're going to save money. And then theoretically speaking, obviously neither you or I have a crystal ball, but things are looking very bright for appreciating home values. So don't wait if you're on the fence, but that's a side point. I do want to also make sure that we mention you guys have a lot loan program with Holiday Farms in Zionsville. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
So that would be a good question for Rich Shellnut or Courtney Lloyd to answer. Rich Shellnut is our mortgage banker and Courtney Lloyd's a banker that works hand in hand with him, but we are a preferred lender out at Holiday Farms. And I know that if you don't know what Holiday Farms is right now you'll purchase a lot and then eventually you'll build on that lot. So that would be a great conversation to talk with Rich and Courtney about.
Which, for those watching, I did do back in August of last year. It's on my YouTube channel, so go check that out. We do a deep dive in it, but just I don't know if you can say, is it cameo is the right word, or
Yeah.
yeah, reference to that. So, but it's a pretty cool product, guys. And if you are thinking about building a luxury custom home on a pretty amazing golf course, I can't get over
Yes.
the scenery of that community. Definitely check that out, but it's a neat product. And then wrapping this up with small business owners, I know small business owners were hit pretty hard with the pandemic, and some have been able to bounce back. Some were able to thrive by a whole lot of God's grace and community support. But others maybe who are trying to rebuild and get back on their feet. Can you talk for a few seconds about the product that you have at Star Bank with small business loans and maybe how that's different compared to others out there?
Yeah, so we specialize in small business, and our business banker here at Zionsville, her name is Jennifer Van Handel. She'd probably be someone great to interview too, but something that we are offering, I mean, we are doing PPP loans, and I know that was extended until May 31st. So if you are still struggling, or if you haven't gotten a PPP loan for the second round, please reach out. I know that in the first round, we have helped about 1,800 Indiana businesses. And in the second round, we've helped 900 Indiana businesses. So really just being there as a resource for these small businesses, whether it's, hey, have you had the PPP loan yet? How can we help you, throughout this pandemic and hard time? And if that's not something that they can do, we still have other resources that we can work with them and provide them with as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. My last question for you, Erin, I know I've kind of been all over the place in the last 5 minutes, but I just keep thinking of good things. And I think that's nice for the flexibility for those watching, for you all to see the different avenues of how you can apply Star Financial Bank maybe in your life or business, just because they do touch on so many different avenues, especially in the local Zionsville community. My last question for you, Erin, is when someone is looking at selecting a bank or a banking institution, what should they look for, and maybe what questions should they be asking?
That's a really good question. So I think some things they should look for is, I guess the presence in the community and the reputation, as well as customer service. That's going to be huge. During the pandemic, if I need my banker, if I have a question for them, whether it's about a stimulus check or my balance or really anything, can I pick up the phone and call them and talk to a person? Or am I going to pick up the phone and call them and be on hold for 45 minutes? So I think customer service and then just doing your research is really important, especially for a bank. You also just want to ask questions that I guess relate to the use of, your everyday finances and cash flow, just so the person can put you in the right account and kind of do a whole entire financial holistic approach to your banking and your needs, whether that's small business or, your whole relationship. But that's something that I would definitely plan to ask for, but customer service is probably going to be the biggest thing. And then products, what kind of products and services do you offer? And does it make sense for me to switch banks, or does it make sense for me to bank with you? So those are the things that I would look for.
Okay. I think I'd like to expand on what you mean by customer service, because I think when you're in the industry, the minimum expectations, but if you're outside of the bubble, then you kind of only have what your experience has been. So what would you say is the minimum that a client should be getting from their bank?
That's a really good question too. So I would just say open, having a solid relationship based on advisory and also communication. So if I walk into a bank, I should, talk to my banker, know their name, be able to reach out to them if I have a concern about my account. Like, let's say it's just a fee or a service issue, or if it's a bigger question, like, hey, I really want to refinance my mortgage. What are my options? So here at Star, we actually have a universal banker set up to where if you walk in and you do a transaction, or if you want to open an account, or if you want to fill out a loan application. We can do everything here. We're not going to pass you on to someone else. So I think having a consistent resource at your bank, whether that's a personal banker or a manager, just anyone that you can always talk to, just to make sure that you're putting yourself in the best financial situation. So I think that's what I would want out of my bank. And I know during the pandemic and during some of 2020 was crazy. I know some people shared their frustrations with how they, couldn't even talk to someone, or, my bank stopped doing auto loans, or my bank stopped doing home equity line of credit. So really just having open communication with your bank and being able to contact someone if you have a problem, but also all the time too.
Well, I think that's definitely helpful for those watching. And again, what is your website, Erin, for those who do want to learn more about STAR?
Our website is starfinancial.com, and you should be able to see all of our resources for personal, small business, mortgage loans. And then also you were able to schedule an appointment with a banker at a branch closest to you as well.
Well, that's excellent. Erin, thank you so much for the time today. I know I threw a lot of curveball questions at you, but you handled them wonderful. And again, appreciate you and all that you guys have done so far for the Zionsville community. I know they are very appreciative of that partnership, but yes, it's been fun to watch you guys grow. Super excited for that. And definitely check out that other interview for those who are interested in building at Holiday Farms to understand more in a deep dive, the lot loan options. But Erin, thank you so much. I will put the contact information in this video description or post wherever this is posted. But I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.